What, we some kind of suicide squad?
I am Iron Man.
You are a toy!
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Server Anakin! I have the high ground!
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm simply saying that life, finds a way.
Welcome back to the Big Movie Boys podcast. And this week is a very special episode because it's my motherfucking episode. Welcome to the Bob episode. How you guys feel? You excited? I'm running the show today. How do you feel about it?
Bob, I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie. But I think that'll help me get through it.
I'd like to hear it. Ben, how are you feeling about today?
Bob, you came in here and said you literally had nothing planned, so I have no idea what to expect, but I know I'm excited.
Well, you should be excited because we have an action-packed episode for you today. We're going to be reviewing possibly one of the best movies of all time, definitely my number one, and that's GoodFellas. Martin Scorsese classic. Along with reviewing GoodFellas, we're also going to decide what the definitive movie to watch drunk is. How are we going to decide that? We're going to do it by playing the first ever, and probably last ever, Big Movie Boys drinking game, which is probably going to get a little dicey, but we'll explain that when we get there. So hopefully by the end of the podcast, we're pretty fucked up. So that way we'll be able to really decide what that best drunk movie of all time is. But before we get to all that goodness, we have a very, very special thing that I've been waiting a while for. Jeremy's punishment review. What fucking movie did you watch?
I watched A.X.L. How could we forget?
Isn't it just A.X.L?
A.X.L.
Are you sure it's not A.X.L?
There's also some discrepancy as to whether it's A-X-L or A.X.L.
God.
It's different depending on where you look.
Well, let's get that shit over with so we can get on the way with this episode.
All right, boys, strap in because A.X.L. is a frickin' ride. A-X-L is your standard story about a boy and his dog, except the boy is the least charismatic and interesting protagonist ever put to film, and the dog is actually a robot built to be a weapon for the U.S. military. This movie definitely earned its place on the punishment list for its shitty story, terrible acting, and for somehow making a 90-minute movie feel like it was 4 hours long. This movie starts with an introduction to Crane Systems, which is a company that makes weapons for the U.S. military, and how their new A.X.L project will revolutionize how we fight in wars. This is also where we're told that Crane has also already developed and deployed the Hornet drones, which is an army of tiny autonomous drones that can be used in combat.
This sounds horrible.
This is the most boring fucking thing. I'm going to fall asleep.
Which made me think, wow, they already have those. Why are they making a dog? Which was only proven to be a valid thought when they used those drones to capture the dog on multiple occasions. Then we meet Miles Hill, played by Alex Newstater, who was as
Newstater? I hardly know her.
Who was as enthusiastic to be in the movie as I was to watch it. He's at a motocross race, which is where we meet our villain, Sam Fontaine, who is basically the equivalent of the Hawks from Mighty Ducks, but for motocross.
Great tie-in for all the listeners at home.
Fontaine invites Miles to hang out after, and while he's not looking, pours an energy drink into Miles' gas tank, so that when Miles goes to attempt another jump on his dirt bike, he lets go of it in midair for some reason. Honestly, not sure what the energy drink had to do with that series of events, but in either case, Miles ends up getting hurt, and Fontaine ditches him, which is how Miles ends up meeting A.X.L in a junkyard.
Is this animated?
Is this so? How much fucking more do you have?
The rest of this movie is Miles falling in love with this dog that's actually a robot and the military trying to reclaim it, but Miles doesn't want to let him go because he believes that Crane is abusing A.X.L, to which even his dad says, Miles, it's a robot, you can't abuse a robot. The plot is so predictable and boring, I'm going to focus on the dog itself. For a machine designed for the sole purpose of being an efficient killer, there is nothing this robot is less capable of than taking a human life. Every time it chases someone with the intent to kill it, it fumbles around like Woody from Toy Story trying to run on ice. Also,
Jeremy, is this your first time reading?
I get good at reading these. I do them every week.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking struggling. The funniest thing in this movie is that they put a muzzle on this robot dog instead of either mechanically keeping its mouth shut, or better yet, don't put a mouth on it since you plan on strapping a machine gun to its back anyway. Also, I can't forget to mention that A.X.L, the super futuristic and incredibly advanced killer robot, runs on gasoline. Spoiler, this movie ends with A.X.L blowing himself up, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't envious of him in that moment. Fuck this movie, I'm glad it bombed.
He kills himself?
The dog kills himself.
To protect Miles, yeah.
Oh my
it has
God.
a self-destruct.
Did you cry?
Miles
No.
is the good guy.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to anything.
Fontaine's the bad guy.
Okay, Fondue's the bad guy. Miles is the good guy.
Miles Teller's the good guy.
Was there
Fondue
anything
is the
about
bad
this
guy.
movie that was good at all?
No, it was completely formulaic and boring and terrible and
How long
shitty.
was it?
90 minutes.
So
90,
It,
that's
it,
okay.
It was animated.
No,
It wasn't animated.
no, live action.
Oh wow.
It was
Emphasis
did it
on
look good?
action.
Did
all
it look
practical
good?
effects too. I heard.
Wow.
No,
Was it Jimmy Neutron's dog?
similar, just like an upgraded version. Are you familiar with Boston Dynamics? Those videos that have gone around.
No idea.
No
those
idea.
four-legged robots, and they.
Oh, those creepy ass things.
yeah,
oh,
and
those-
they always show
yeah.
the people like kicking them over, and then they get back up.
Yeah, those are terrifying.
They use like that footage, and it's basically completely based on that.
And it's like
Except
Crane
I don't think they're
Industries.
using those for the military. I think they're using those for like
Fucking around.
Yeah.
building stuff. Yeah.
Well, goddamn. I'll be honest with you. That was one of the most boring things I've ever heard. Just you reading that.
Yeah,
Like,
that was pretty rough.
That was
It,
horrible.
it was tough to even make jokes about it. It was that bad.
That's a really bad punishment movie. I think we dodged a bullet not getting that one. I mean, and by we, I mean I'll never lose one of those challenges. But Bob, you dodged a bullet.
I need to hear your review now of any fucking movie because you know what? I should have done a Big Movie Boys challenge today and make you lose.
Yeah, this was tough.
Well, goddamn, I do not envy you in the slightest that you had to watch that. I can't wait till the next one when you have to do it again. Because
Yeah.
I'm not ever losing again. That was it. That's gambler's luck. My luck has turned around,
You've never won though.
but I've only lost twice. I've never not won.
Wait, what?
All right. All right. I think that about wraps it. Jeremy, does that wrap up your review? You got anything else for us?
I mean, it was so goddamn boring. Unless you guys have any questions.
I hope I
but-
never have to hear anything about A.X.L ever again.
I don't think I need any. I don't have any questions to ask. I'm just gonna. Hopefully, we can just breeze over this part and never remember it again.
I'm okay with that.
It was boring as shit. Now, something that's not going to be boring in the absolute fucking slightest. It's time for the first ever Big Movie Boys drinking game. This is going to be a bloodbath. So, basically, the way this game's going to work, I don't really know why we're doing this, actually. We're just getting fucked up on this podcast. The way the thing's going to work is we're going round table. It's going to start with me. I'm going to name an actor. And then we're going to go clockwise?
Counterclockwise.
We're going to go counterclockwise.
They can't see us, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter.
But
And
now you can just imagine the seating order in this room.
you have... So basically the way it's going to work, I'm going to start. I'm going to name an actor. We're going to go clockwise?
Counterclockwise.
We're going to go counterclockwise. And you have to name a movie that actor's been in within 5 Mississippi, give or take.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say within a certain amount of years. I'm like, what the
No,
fuck?
no. Any movie at all that they were in, that they acted in. So you have about 5 Mississippi. Basically, like we can call bullshit. Like if you're taking too long, or like there's some wiggle room there. About 5 Mississippi. You're gonna name a movie. It's gonna go to Jeremy. He's gonna name a movie. I'm gonna name a movie. You're gonna name a movie. We're gonna go.
I'm nervous about this.
Basically,
Shit.
though, the way it works is we're all going around in a circle. First person to not be able to name a movie that actor's in.
Or repeat a movie that was already said.
Correct. Or repeat a movie that was already said, has to take a shot of Rooney of some New Amsterdam Red Berry.
For the listeners, I just want you to know, Bob held up the microphone like New Amsterdam was gonna say its own name.
So yeah, the way it's gonna work is where basically if you can't name the movie, you gotta take a shot, and then whoever takes that shot, it's their turn to name the next actor whose movies we have to name. How do you guys feel? You ready?
I know the first actor you're coming up with, and I'm already like blanking because I'm like, I don't want to lose.
It's a given. I think all the listeners at home also know who I'm probably gonna name. So if you don't have 6 off the top of your head ready to rattle, then you fucking yourself.
Here's the thing, boys. I know this isn't a challenge necessarily, but I'm guaranteeing victory.
Jeremy, this is my episode. Don't you dare take my line. Any questions though? Or are you guys ready? Or are we gonna let's just fucking start tipping them back?
Bob, explain one more time which direction we're going.
We're going clockwise. All right, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understand the rules?
I think so.
Time for the first and probably last Big Movie Boys drinking game.
Let's do it.
Okay, first actor is the one, the only, motherfucking Mark Wahlberg.
Gonna go with the greatest buddy cop movie of all time, Other Guys.
I'm going to go with the greatest buddy cop movie of all time, Spencer Confidential.
Contraband.
Daddy's Home.
The Departed.
The Fighter.
Daddy's Home 2.
Oh, you motherfucker!
Shit.
That's it. That's it. That is definitely it.
Fuck.
Man, Daddy's Home 2 got ya.
Dude, I was so happy that you fucked it up because I did not know another one, dude.
I was gonna just say Transformers, but I don't know if that's
that was the
specific
one
enough.
I had, Transformers 4. I'm like, that was the one I couldn't come
I
up
didn't
with.
know if that was gonna count.
How did taste going down?
It was tough. Luckily, it'll be the last one I take, though.
Interesting. Excited for your actor choice here.
Yeah, who we got?
Let's just start strong, you know.
We already started.
No, but we're gonna start strong because no one's stronger than Vin Diesel.
Fast and Furious 1.
I'm gonna go with Fast 2.
You mean Too Fast, Too Furious?
Fast, Too Furious. Count it.
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Can I ask a question? Isn't he not in that one?
Wow.
He's in the post credits of that.
Oh shit! We got a
Hold on a
discrepancy.
Jeremy.
We're gonna look that up at the end, but we have our first.
Okay, that's our
discrepancy.
first. That's another rule we didn't mention in the beginning. If somebody names something that's controversial, we'll come back to it at the end. And
I just told you he's in the post credits.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's my podcast. It doesn't count. The Pacifier.
Shit, that was gonna be mine. I'll go with Fast 5.
I'll take it back to Fast and Furious 4.
Fast 6.
Fast 8.
Furious 7.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Avengers Infinity War.
Avengers Endgame.
Fuck. Shit,
You don't got no way.
He's in no other movies.
No, that's a shot.
Chronicles of Riddick.
I was not gonna get that.
Yeah, that's a shot,
Shit.
baby.
So glad New Amsterdam is sponsoring this podcast. I'm gonna try to keep it easy here. We're gonna go with William Farrell.
Bill Farrell.
Billy Farrell.
Billy Farrell, all right. You ready?
Yep.
The other guys.
Blades of Glory.
Daddy's Home.
Kicking and Screaming.
Daddy's Home 2.
Anchorman.
Semi-Pro.
Anchorman 2.
Blades of Glory.
Talladega Nights.
Old School.
Step Brothers.
Elf.
Yes, that's it.
Dude, it's hard. It's hard.
Shit. I was thinking of Step Brothers. Oh man, that was tough.
That was a hard one. I don't even like.
That was a good because we kept naming them. I forgot what you guys were saying.
We rattled like 5 or 6 off.
I wasn't confident when I said Talladega Nights that no one had said that already.
Yeah, when I said Step Brothers, I was a little nervous. Nice use of Old School too.
My anxiety is at an all-time high right now.
Yeah,
Dude, once we go quickly, that's when it's like scary, right?
Here we
I'm trying
go.
to think of a good one.
Wow, we've each won 1 and 1.
Wow. I am gonna go with a big one here. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Titanic.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
The Aviator.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Shutter Island.
That was
borderline.
Oh, we'll give it to you though. What's Eating Gilbert Grapes?
Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond. Great.
Jeremy doesn't even believe it.
Django.
Inception.
Unchained.
Holy shit! I get it.
Oh, that might be it. That might be that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's too long.
Dude, I can't believe you came up with what's eating Gilbert Grapes that early.
The reason it took me so long to come up with the actor, I was trying to think of like 2 obscure movies that way that like I knew I'd have them in
There
the
was
bank.
so
And I decided to use them right away.
he has so many movies I can't believe I didn't. Just want to, and I'm also thinking. Let me think back. We never checked Jeremy's Vin Diesel fucking movie.
Oh my
and
god!
I took a shot
Look
for
at
that
the
one.
Fuck up.
What do you need me to look up?
Post-credit scenes don't count. Can we establish that?
They absolutely do.
Okay, look up the entire cast and read them all one by one.
He is not
Fuck,
there.
I see him
Where is he?
all the way at the bottom, right there.
Okay.
Who we got?
Shit, I can only think like comedy movies, so I'm going with Vince Vaughn.
Dodgeball.
Wedding Crashers.
Old School.
The Internship.
Beats the fuck out of me. I don't know.
You already lost.
No,
bro.
I don't. I
I
can't
was gonna
think
come up with Swingers, and I had like nothing.
I can't
else
even
after
think of
that.
another Vince Vaughn movie. You know what?
Into the
Yeah,
Wild.
I was about to say Into the Wild. Yeah. I know who I want to do, but I can't think of the name of the fucking actor right now.
I think that's a shot.
What the fuck is that guy's name? And you're gonna be so pissed when I say it too, because it's like a huge actor. And his name, you know what the problem is? I came to this drunk, so I've already killed enough brain cells tonight. What the fuck is that guy's name? Got it. We're back. The new actor is Russell Crowe.
What the fuck is that guy's name? All right. This is gonna be a tough one. Gladiator.
Yeah,
What's the movie that came out the year after Gladiator?
you gotta say it.
That one.
You're already done here. Come on, man. Give a movie.
I don't know any
Beautiful
other Russell.
Mind.
A Beautiful,
A Beautiful
Mind.
Mind's what you're looking for.
I was gonna say all I had was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, on my mind.
He's
Well,
not
now
in
you
that.
got some New Amsterdam on your mind.
Apparently, that was.
The only other one I
That
had
was
was
rough.
Cinderella Man.
Cinderella Man, I was gonna say Noah's Ark, which might have been our first discrepancy, because I think it might actually be called Noah.
All right, let's get some ladies involved. Let's go with Scarlett Johansson.
Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Infinity War.
Iron Man 2.
Marriage Story.
What's that movie she's in? Fucking Christ. That thing. Shit.
We're looking rough right now.
I don't.
Name any Avengers movie, Ben. There's like 6 more that you missed.
What is she called? Oh, Black
Black
Widow.
That movie didn't come out yet. I was gonna say that. Does that count?
I'll give you Black Widow.
I was gonna say
Well,
yes.
I'm gonna fail next time around, so we're gonna count it.
Sure. Avengers.
We're counting that? Yeah. Okay. The one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt where he has the masturbation problem.
I'm gonna count it.
It's I don't know the name of it right now.
I
but
think that counts.
it's one where he has a lot of sex
Yeah.
and his girlfriend Scarlett Johansson, or he doesn't have a lot of sex. He's addicted to porn. He doesn't have
No,
sex
yeah.
with Scarlett Johansson.
No, I'm gonna give that to him.
That's close enough. Everything but the title.
I'm giving that to him. I'm going with her, where she is her.
Avengers Age of Ultron.
These are some bullshit.
Avengers Uno.
I already said that.
Drink,
didn't.
motherfucker.
You said no. You didn't.
You said Avengers.
You said Avengers Endgame.
No, and then I said Infinity War, and
Son
then he
of
said
a
Avengers.
goddamn bitch.
Man, that's
Jojo Rabbit.
wow. Shout out to me for technically losing, but still pulling one out.
How's everybody feeling? Anybody feeling it yet? A couple shots in.
Yeah, I'm feeling like a victory's coming my way.
I think I want to stick with the female actresses, and I'm going to go with one that I know Jeremy won't be able to name any. Meryl Streep.
The Devil Wears Prada.
The Devil Wears Prada. Is the only, sorry, National Treasure 2. Book of Secrets.
Dude, come
All right,
on.
Jeremy.
Yeah, I don't know any other Meryl Streep.
I didn't either.
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
I didn't know
should've
any
had it.
either. I just knew it would not make it past 2, so it wasn't even
That's a good
coming back
point.
to me.
That's honestly smart move.
I don't agree with it, but I will take this one.
And that's not even an obscure like that's not even like
She's the most famous actress of all
yeah.
time.
We're just a horrible movie podcast.
All right, Bob. This is your podcast. I'll give you one that you'll appreciate. Bradley Cooper.
A Fault in Our Stars. Oh no. Silver Linings Playbook. Sorry, wrong star movie.
What's it? The Hangover.
Star is Born.
Wedding Crashers.
Oh shit, nice one. Hangover 2.
Limitless.
You motherfucker. Another Bradley Cooper movie is one that we all know and we all cherish so much. Everybody knows this Bradley Cooper movie. Everybody knows it's one of my favorites. It's fuck. I don't know.
How did you not say Hangover 3?
I don't know. I skipped 2. I don't know.
said 2. I said both of them. That was great though. Honestly, I have to give you credit for that. That
American
bullshit.
Hustle. Guardians of the Galaxy.
There's so many. I just like my
Guardians
brain.
2.
Like
You
I
just
s-
blank out, dude. And I think Bob has been whispering, "I want a drink."
It's just the pressure, also mixed with my. I think I'm hungover and drunk right now, actually. So it's everything mixed together.
This is a Monday morning. I just want to reiterate that.
All right. Oh, you're fucked, Jeremy. You're
If you
so
think of this
fucked.
movie.
You're so fucked, you motherfucker.
I don't like Bob playing the strategy
so-
of.
Do not say Helen Mirren.
Chris Tucker.
I'll go with that. Rush Hour 3.
I'll go with Rush Hour 2.
Rush Hour 1.
Friday.
I think those are all 4 of the movies he's been in. What happens if we go through an actor's complete filmography?
There's another.
I don't know it.
You're drinking, motherfucker. You know what he's in? Silver Linings
Yeah.
Playbook. I actually didn't think that you were going to say Friday. I forgot about it. I thought it was going to go you with Rush Hour 1, Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour 3. I thought you were going to say Silver Linings Playbook, and then I thought we were fucking Jer there.
Well, we still got him.
We still got
I
his
forgot
ass.
he was in Silver Linings Playbook.
Those are the 4 movies he's been in.
Man, I haven't drank in a while. I was about to take a shot. He's getting ready to lose this one.
Did you lose the last 2, Jeremy?
I don't remember.
Ben, you want
No,
to take
you
a shot?
said
You guys want
Chris
to take a
Tucker.
shot anyway, just for shits?
Jeremy doesn't, but I need to. I haven't drank in a while.
All right, Ben,
Lord
Ben
have
I'll get
mercy.
you out this
We're
time.
finishing the bottle.
All right, if we wanna pick our home team actors that only we know movies at,
It's already under dispute.
let's go Oscar Isaac.
The Force Awakens.
Who the fuck is Oscar Isaac? Yeah, Oscar Isaac. Everyone knows him from Star Wars 8.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. How about Triple Frontier?
I'm going to go Star Wars 7.
You already said that.
Oh, that 8. Oh, 9. I don't know what the numbers are. I'm going to go with Last Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker. Sorry. Man, what the fuck?
That's who this guy is.
Are you
I'm gonna
pulling up
take the
his
L.
movies?
I'm gonna take the L. How the fuck do you know this guy, Jared?
You're gonna pull up his
Machina.
Ex Machina. He's Apocalypse and X-Men Apocalypse.
No, I'm taking the L. I was gonna obviously.
He's in
lose.
Drive.
I didn't watch that movie.
I thought you did.
No, wanted to.
Confused the
Oscar
movies you
Isaac.
wanted to watch with the movies you have watched.
Okay, this will be our last one. I'm gonna go with Chadwick Boseman.
Black Panther.
42.
Shit, you stole that one from me. Avengers Endgame.
21 Bridges.
You motherfucker. Infinity War.
Wish I wouldn't have said Chadwick Boseman.
Come on. We're going to give you extended time.
Chadwick Boseman, the guy who's in my favorite movie. He's in that movie. Everyone knows this movie, of course. I can't believe you said 42, motherfucker. Shit, I got to drink. Let's do one more. All right, scratch that. This is our last one. I'm going with Harrison Ford.
Star Wars Episode 4.
Call of the Wild.
Wait, does Episode 4 mean the first one?
The first one that ever came out.
Okay, then I'll go with Star Wars Episode 5.
Star Wars Episode 6.
Indiana Jones.
Well, which one?
Uno.
Okay. Indiana Jones. The second one.
Star Wars Episode 7.
Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Was in it.
Wow.
Was in it.
For about a minute.
If we're giving you Vin Diesel post-credit scene, we're taking this shit to the bank.
And I'll go with Indiana Jones 3.
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, or
Nice.
whatever the
Wow.
fourth
Shout
one
out
was.
to you, Shia LaBeouf. Nice.
I was about to say that one. He was in one of the best movies of all time. It truly was such a good movie. I don't fucking know.
I had two.
All right, let's hear him.
Air Force One.
Okay.
And then my other one was a shitty movie it was in was Firewall.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up.
This honestly perfect timing.
One
Bob wanted to drink.
final shot. I was very thirsty.
I think Bob threw that one on purpose.
Woo! All right, boys. How we feeling after that? The first ever Big Movie Boys drinking game. How do we feel about it?
Feel like we were drinking.
I honestly feel like I won. I'm not even kidding.
Ipso facto, I won.
We'll have to look at the stats.
Who had the most shots? That's who really won.
Then I think you won.
Okay. I was second one in between. Little peek behind the curtain before we move into the next thing that you're going to hear a lot of in this podcast is some beer cans opening. Jeremy usually censors those for whatever reason. He tries to edit them out.
Apparently he thinks drinking isn't cool.
Maybe because he's a fucking narc or something. I don't know.
He just thinks that the cracking sounds every 10 minutes don't make for good audio in an audio-only podcast.
In Jeremy's defense, Bob likes to do it as soon as Jeremy makes an important point.
We all have our opinions, some of which are wrong, some of which are right. I will not say what is what. But that's another point we're going to make. You're going to hear as many beer cans as possible this episode, which you might have to edit this out when we don't drink anymore because we're fucked up from the New Amsterdam. Next thing we're going to move on to is a review of, you know what? We're going to reel that in. We're all going to do one more shot until we move on to our review of GoodFellas. Everybody pour it up. How's everybody feeling? One more.
It's episode 16, boys.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. So here is the Big Movie Boys review of Goodfellas. Goodfellas came out in 1990, directed by the famous Martin Scorsese. This movie stars Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco, written by Nicholas Pileggi, who also wrote the book that this movie is based off of, and Martin Scorsese. This is probably without a doubt my favorite movie. This is considered like, basically this and The Godfather are considered like the holy grail of like mobster movies, and this is upper echelon. Bill Burr once called this the ultimate guy movie. I really like this movie. I've been wanting you two. I was so shocked.
To me, I love Bill Burr, but I would call this the ultimate boy movie.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
So I love this movie. I've seen it tons of times, and when you guys says you hadn't seen it, I was like so shocked. So I was very excited for this week. So I guess the first thing I'm gonna say, we're probably gonna talk spoilers on this. I mean, this movie came
Immediately.
out
30 years ago.
It came out 30 years ago.
If you haven't seen it, you're a loser like Jeremy and I who hasn't seen it. Then you deserve to have it
If you
spoiled.
haven't seen it, I encourage you to pause the podcast right now and go and watch it. But with that being said, what did you guys think?
Yeah, I really liked it. So I was like kind of tentative going in because you like hyped it up so much, but I knew the hype around it was real. But going in, I was just kind of like super excited to see this movie because it's like you said, this and the Godfather franchise are like two of like the biggest movies of all time. So I was like not cautiously optimistic. I was just optimistic, and then it was a great movie. I felt like Joe Pesci was like fucking scary as shit in it, and then you like someone stupid like me knows Joe Pesci from like Home Alone.
Almost everybody only knows him
exactly, and then you see him in this, and you're like, holy shit, he plays like a villain. Actually, fucking.
You're gonna watch Home Alone this Christmas, and you're gonna be like, Kevin McAllister is in danger right now.
Dude, yeah,
Home Alone is just Joe Pesci trying not to curse the whole time.
It honestly is, but no, I really like this movie. It probably was like maybe 15 minutes long, but like Scorsese movies always kind of run a little long. That's not going to be a detractor for me.
Yeah, for me, so this last year has just been like defined by Scorsese movies for me because prior to The Irishman, I think the only Scorsese movie I'd ever seen was Wolf of Wall Street. I watched The Irishman the week it came out on Netflix. I watched Shutter Island recently. I watched The Departed recently, and I just watched Goodfellas for the first time. So I've been on quite the Scorsese kick. And I said it once before, but I'll say it again. I think this guy's got it. I mean, no one's looking for my opinion here, but I think this guy's going to make it big in Hollywood one day if he keeps doing what he's doing.
This made me excited to watch The Irishman.
Here's my second question to you, because the first thing I thought I was going to ask you, where does this movie rank on your all-time list? I think it's a little early for that. This is one that's got to sit with you a little bit. Maybe it warrants a rewatch. Where does this sit off of an initial viewing? I know you saw it very recent, like a few hours ago, right?
I did watch it today.
Yeah. Where does this rank in terms of Scorsese movies on your list? And I have a feeling somebody might rank one over, and that's going to bring me to my next point.
That's interesting. I really like Wolf of Wall Street. Honestly, I think the only Scorsese movies I've seen are all the ones Jeremy listed besides The Irishman. And I think The Departed, the only like detractor from that is almost like it's too star-studded. Mm-hmm. So like, I can't even say this one because then it just seems like it's based off me watching it literally yesterday. So I'd probably go with The Wolf of Wall Street, and then like this, and then it just falls somewhere in there.
What about you, Jer?
For me, it's really tough. Obviously, like I said, I just watched most of these movies within the last couple of months, but I feel like I had similar takeaways from Goodfellas as I did The Departed and The Irishman, where when I walked away, I was just like, those are just like flawlessly executed movies, like pretty much perfect no matter how you're looking at it.
Just brings you into this world.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think Shutter Island, for me, and this might be an unpopular opinion for Scorsese movies, left me with a little bit more. And I don't think anyone else calls Shutter Island one of his better movies.
I agree with Jeremy that it like leaves you like, you kind of think about that movie for the rest of the day, and it kind of lingers into the next day, which is kind of an interesting take, and that's almost what you want from movies sometimes. I just almost think Shutter Island was like one half step away from being like one of the greatest movies of all time.
This is such an interesting thing to think of. Think about the movies that we just named. Think about how different The Departed is a gangster movie, but think about the way that...
But it involves the cops way more than... like this. That's The Departed is the other side of the mob.
Exactly, but think about the way The Departed feels. Think about the way Goodfellas feels. Think about the way Wolf of Wall Street feels. Think about the way Shutter Island feels. All those movies are so different, and they're directed all by the same guy. Like, I think that just shows the genius of him. But on to what I said earlier, I think that one of you was going to mention it as being your favorite Scorsese movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. I don't think we can ignore the similarities in the way both of these stories are told. Did you guys pick
With
up
the
on that?
narration?
The narration, the way it starts, the movie starts at
Like,
the midway point.
yeah.
And it's like the major catalyst.
And then they go back to the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
just like the Scorsese like flair he had. I mean, I thought this was more close to The Irishman. I thought this and The Irishman
Did
were
you see The
very
Irishman,
similar.
I saw The Irishman.
What's your take on that one, though?
It's one of that is the ultimate. It has to sit with me movie. I've rewatched parts of it. It's just too long.
I just thought like structurally, like from a storytelling point of view, and I don't disagree that it's very similar to The Wolf of Wall Street in that way as well. But maybe it's just because I saw The Irishman more recently than Wolf of Wall Street. But this, from like a structure and storytelling perspective, made me think of Irishman the entire time.
To me, it stuck with me. Like when the first time I watched this, I was like, "Holy shit!" This reminds me. I think maybe it was you mentioned that you saw The Irishman more recently. I think I'd seen The Wolf of Wall Street, and it made me want to watch this. I want to see more Scorsese. And when I was watching it, I'm just like, "This is the same." Like it's the same structure of a movie. It starts at the midway point, at like a major turning point. That narration. The parts where he steps out and he's talking to the camera almost breaks the fourth wall. It happens in both movies.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's very similar, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just something you notice.
And I think both movies kind of show the deterioration of the main character, like Ray Liotta and Leo. Like both of them, you see.
They start at the bottom. They get to their absolute peak. Like think about the way The Wolf of Wall Street starts.
Yeah.
He's just like a nobody stockbroker, and he goes out there.
And just like him, they show him as a kid, Ray Liotta.
Yep. And then they get to their absolute peak, and all shit goes wrong, and then it's a
like,
straight up and down.
I almost think this movie did a better job, and it's 30 years old at this point, but like this movie did a better job of classic of like showing Ray Liotta, aka Henry Hill, like really deteriorate, and like I wouldn't be surprised if Ray Liotta did cocaine throughout this entire movie because he looks so terrible by the end of it.
Shit in some parts.
Like
of
it. when he thinks he's going to be murdered by Jimmy Conway, aka Robert De Niro. Like I genuinely believe that Robert De Niro threatened to kill him off screen.
So I've got 2 points to bring up on Ray Liotta. First, whoever they cast as young Ray Liotta might. If you told me they just filmed Ray Liotta 15 years prior, I would have believed you. Mm-hmm. That looks like him cloned and was just raised to be a 15-year-old kid or whatever.
I always appreciate when a movie can do that, make the kid look like the adult.
Because it doesn't take you out of it then.
It
seems realistic.
Because like sometimes I'm like, that kid would not look like that.
No.
And then my second point on Ray Liotta, maybe Ben will sympathize with me a little bit more than Bob, having just seen it as well. But I felt the entire time I was watching it, I felt like I was living in an alternate reality where Ray Liotta was cast over Leonardo DiCaprio. And I know this movie came out in 1990, but the entire time I'm like, if this movie is made today, this is Leonardo's role all day, every day.
I can agree with that.
I kind of see that. I don't know. Maybe it's the hair color that's getting to me. Maybe I see like more like Ben Affleck or something. But like Ray Liotta seems like, why after this movie did he not go on to be like the Robert De Niro? I know his role is kind of different. Like Robert De Niro and like Joe Pesci have these great side character roles, and like Ray Liotta has to do a lot with this movie. But I just feel like after this, he did a great job. This movie's amazing. But like, I just feel like he should have been one of the best actors around and not doing like fucking Scotch commercials like I fucking see him doing now.
It's strange because it was 1990. He was a little bigger in the 90s, but this was his peak. And this was actually like his first major role. And I've seen like interviews and stuff since where they talk to him, and he says like, Scorsese gave me my break. Like I was a nobody. I was doing commercials, and they literally cast him in this, and he was a complete unknown. He had only been in like minor roles and like commercials and stuff. And it's almost like after this was over, he went back to being in minor roles and commercials. Like he had a little bit of success after Goodfellas. Like he was in
and he's in movies and stuff. Like you obviously know him, but like you know him as like Ray Liotta. But
think about who he's exactly like you said. Think about who he's alongside with. I mean, Pesci's like
he was my cousin Vinny, and like he has major roles in the 90s as well. But like Robert De Niro
is arguably one of the biggest actors of all time.
Exactly, and you almost see like there could have been this trajectory for Ray Liotta to be like one of the coolest dudes of all time, like how Leo is.
Yeah, it is strange to think about is that the different paths all these actors took. But that almost brings me to my next question: who's your favorite character?
Well, it's Joe Pesci to me. He plays like I don't know if I like gravitate to like the scary guys because it's like it seems more way off book for these people, like how Heath Ledger is in like as the Joker. Joe Pesci, I wasn't expecting him to be that fucking scary. He's fucking scary. He's a lunatic. Jared,
Little peek behind the curtain on the Joe Pesci.
You talked to Joe Pesci?
Yeah, we call.
Is this where I edited in the interview you did with Joe Pesci?
So like I know a lot of like behind the scenes stuff about this because I love this movie. I like read every article I see that pops up on Twitter about it. Apparently, the character that Joe Pesci plays, Henry Hill, the real life Henry Hill, he said that is 99% accurate. He says it gave him chills down his spine when he watched Joe Pesci because it almost brought him back to those moments. Do you want to know the 1%?
He didn't shoot that guy in the gut.
No, apparently the real Tommy DeSimone was 6'6".
Wow.
Yeah, and Pesci's 5'4".
That almost makes him better to me.
Apparently the real guy was like massive.
I think the character makes more sense as like a dude with a short man complex.
And
He's
that's
trying
like-
to prove
Because
himself.
it's yeah, it's like a Napoleon thing. Like, but is it that's just an interesting thing that I found. Apparently the real life thing that almost makes it more scary. That the real guy was actually like that fucking.
But
crazy.
like the real guy, like 6'6", you said, or whatever.
It was 6'4", 6'6". He's a tall dude.
That guy, people would just be genuinely afraid of. I think the part with Joe Pesci is like, you see this guy, you feel like you can fuck with him. You're just busting his balls like a lot of people do in this movie, and he genuinely gets so pissed off at it that
He'll fucking kill you.
Like even when like the first scene you get like that glimpse of him being nuts when he's like telling this funny story and Henry's like cracking up and he's like, "You're a funny guy," and Joe Pesci's gets like genuinely that's the meme like of Ray Liotta laughing, but like. You're like, oh, this guy like is genuinely offended when people like come at him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When he just has that hairpin trigger where the scariest part in this whole movie is when they're playing cards and Spider finally comes back at him and just makes a joke at him.
Yo, fuck you.
Yeah, and then Robert De Niro's like kind of razzing him as well. And
clearly
then
just
the
fucking
whole
with
time,
him.
the whole time I'm just watching Joe Pesci and he just sits there silently.
Didn't you know he was gonna shoot him?
Immediately.
Oh yeah.
As soon as he got so quiet and he's just like staring down at the table, I'm just like, Spider's dead.
Yeah.
Rip Spider.
There's an offhanded joke. So Spider is played by Michael Imperioli, who is Christopher Moltisanti in The Sopranos. And there's an offhanded joke where Spider, Christopher, in The Sopranos, shoots a guy in the foot, just like what happens in Goodfellas. And the guy's like, "You shot me in my fucking foot." And he's like, "It happens."
Oh, that's funny.
But
I
that's another
did
thing.
love Joe Pesci's reaction to all that. He's like, "It's an accident. What do you want me to do?"
And then when he actually killed him, he goes like, "What do you? I'm a good shot. I'm sorry."
Yeah. He's like, he was in my fucking way. He's talking shit. Like murder is so nonchalant for these people.
Yeah, especially him.
Robert De Niro tells him, "You have to dig the hole this time." He's like, "What? You think I never dug a hole before?"
Yeah, he's like, "I'll dig a hole every day of the fucking week."
I love your guys' Italian accents. I'm not even gonna attempt it.
But we did mention Spider and how he was in The Sopranos. Sopranos, probably one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I'm gonna have you guys guess how many actors do you think are in The Sopranos as well as Goodfellas?
Honestly, offhand, 30.
What do you think?
I got a little lesson from Gary earlier today, so he gave me the rundown on a few of them, including Ray Liotta's wife as a doctor.
Yep, she's
Of
Dr.
some sort.
Melfi. Karen is Dr. Melfi in The Sopranos. But Ben, you were almost spot on. It's actually 27.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Holy
27
shit.
shared actors.
Honestly, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you were about as close as you could get. How does that make you guys want to watch The Sopranos at all? Are you interested in the mob genre anymore after watching probably one of the best mob movies?
I
of all
feel like
time?
I more so want to go just dive into like The Godfather and The Irishman and just these massive movies.
I think I'm more inclined to watch more Scorsese films than mob films.
Interesting. Well, it is as a huge fan of both. It's like it almost feels like it's in the same world. Like I said, they have that joke in The Sopranos where like they basically
It's almost like
poke
Spider
at
grew
it,
up
yeah.
without dying.
Yeah, it's very strange, but both absolutely incredible. I guess sort of to put a bow on it, just because we're gonna try to wrap this up a little bit. What is your favorite scene in the movie? Because there's many iconic scenes. What do you think your favorite is? Mine is probably a straight toss up. The first one that comes to mind when I think about this movie, and it's actually been parodied in a lot of different like forms of media. That scene when they're at the Copacabana and it's the long shot where Henry and Karen they cut the line and they go through the kitchen and they do all this and that. That's just so cool because it's such an awesome long shot, and it. Even like the little throwaways when you hear people talking in the background. Where my favorite part is when the one guy's like, "Hey buddy, we've been waiting 2 hours and this guy just cuts the whole line."
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he does. He fucking owns the place. Like he's Henry fucking Hill. He doesn't wait in line for nobody. That's the fucking man right there. Like he gets a table right there in front of the table. And the best part is when you look, you see little shots of Karen, and she's like, "Oh my god, like what is this?"
What do you do? And I'm in construction.
Yeah, I'm in
Classic.
construction. Another peek behind the curtain. Like I said, I know a lot of interesting stuff about this movie. Apparently, that took a fuckload of time to film, not because of like mishaps in the camera operation or like people missing like their cues to walk across. That guy, whatever that comedian was that was supposed to tell the joke at the end, kept fucking up his line.
Oh, really?
They would film the whole thing, and then they go to this guy.
And those were like just funny, stupid lines. That's funny that they couldn't just be like, all right, let's get a fucking new
He would
guy
just
in
like
here.
mumble. He'd be like, "Ah, fuck, I fucked it up again." Like, so I guess that took a really long time to film.
Would they have to legit film
whole
start
to finish?
If I'm Ray Liotta, I'm like, fuck this
Apparently,
dude.
it took a very long time because I think that comedian was apparently famous like way back or whatever time period this takes place, like late 80s, early.
Yeah.
But that is my jump to, and I don't know. It's probably a 50-50 toss-up. The other one I'm thinking of is the scene when they show all the hits, when it's the montage of the people that died, and they play.
Yeah, I like that one.
They play Layla, the piano part.
The musical soundtrack as well as the score in this movie are pretty great.
Yeah, that's why that one sticks with me the most because I love the piano and they're just showing the hits. Like I think those two are probably my favorite. But what do you guys think, Ben? What do you got?
Yeah, after just sitting with it for a second, I think it's probably not one scene in general, but it's kind of like two scenes morphed together. But when they kill, what's his name, Burnsy, when Joe Pesci kills him, after like, was that what's his name?
In the
bar?
Maid
Man, yeah. And
Billy Batts.
Billy Batts. Yeah, sorry. But like when he kills him, like when he first gets offended, I like seeing them like. I like seeing Joe Pesci go from like.
He's like, I don't know if you heard. I don't shine shoes no more.
Yeah, when he just shows like his progression of like, and at that point he's gonna kill this guy, and then he leaves, comes back, they kill him, then they go to bury him, but then they go to the mom's house. I like their interactions with the mom.
How crazy does that show you though? One of the best parts is when he's just like he just fucking murders this guy, and he murders nothing. He just leans to Henry, and goes, "I didn't mean to get blood on your floor." Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like sorry I killed a person.
Yeah.
And the same like you said, they go to the mother's house, who's actually played by Martin Scorsese's real life mother.
Oh wow, cool.
His real life father's also in the movie. They're both in it.
Yeah. I like the part where so he grabs that huge fucking knife and he explains like the story about the deer that got like a hoof stuck in the front of his car.
What do you call it?
What, a
foot?
paw or hoof? And they're just like literally just shooting the shit. Like they didn't
Then
just
he
kill
fucking
someone.
stabs the guy.
Yeah, exactly. That shit was
He's like, "Ma, you
crazy.
care
And
if I take this?"
and he's like, "Ma, I'll bring it back." I'm just like, oh my god, and I think a lot of movies when they start in the middle, like you kind of almost forget about, and like they don't really explain why they did that, but like you understood why they did that, and like show him stabbing him at the beginning, and then they explain like he's joking around and saying, "I'm gonna cut the hoof or paw out."
But that's that actually that's Martin Scorsese's mom, and then later when they're in prison, when they're cooking the meatballs.
Oh, that guy.
That's Martin Scorsese's dad.
Oh, that's cool. I
It's
like
cool.
when things
Yeah,
like
they're
that
both
happen.
in it.
For me, Bob, you made a very good pick. I'm a sucker for long shots. So that scene where they go into the Copacabana is definitely a good one. I'd say mine is either the scene we already talked about with Joe Pesci where he's telling the story in the restaurant, the bamboo restaurant.
Yeah, that early scene.
Yeah, and Ray
That's
Liotta's
just
like, "You're a
funny
funny
how
guy."
scene.
Yeah. And because you can just see Joe Pesci turn on a dime.
I thought he was gonna like. For a second, I was like, "Is he gonna like beat the shit out of Ray Liotta here?"
It's tense.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first like really tense like I think Scorsese is a king at like these anxiety fueled scenes where people are talking. This isn't necessarily one of those scenes, but there's a lot of scenes where people are talking, like the scene where they go to the mom's house, Joe Pesci's mom's house.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like speaking at the same time. It's just chaotic and it's just like anxiety inducing. I think that's a really good portrayal of that. And then also towards the end of the movie when Joe Pesci thinks he's going to be made and they start walking him into the room, and as soon as he walks in the room, he just goes, "Oh no."
When I was watching that for a second, I was like, interesting that no one's in that room. And then it's just the payback for Billy Batts. But so did his own people kill him to kind of just make peace with the other group? I was kind of confused by that.
They killed him because he killed the made man, and you're not.
But no, did his own people because they're two different groups? I know it's like they're made men in two different Italian families.
I think Billy Batts was from the Gambino crime family, and
they're like
it was payback basically. Like they knew.
But they
knew without knowing that it was Tommy that killed him, and it was retribution basically.
So they were just basically like, we'll kill him and things will be evened
Yeah,
up.
but Paulie, the boss of the family, he they don't say it on screen, but it's basically shown that he okayed it because he's like, okay, we know without knowing, but Tommy killed that guy. You need your
because he was
retribution.
asking around and
It's almost like there's like rules to it, and like that was it. It was payback.
I felt like that's another thing about like diving into this world, like the made men shit. Because the whole time I'm kind of like, when they're happy that Tommy is gonna become a made man, I'm like, why is Robert De Niro so happy? And then they like explain like because he's not of
you have to be
100%
from
Italian
He
blood.
can't be made, so to have his right hand man be made is almost
They
as
actually
good.
rip on it in The Sopranos. There's a scene where Spider is getting made. He becomes a made man, and they don't tell you. They bring him down.
Spoiler.
They bring you into this place, and he goes, "I thought you guys were gonna fucking kill me." And he's just like, and Tony Soprano's like, "You've seen too many movies."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They rip on Goodfellas all the time in it, like I said. But yeah, like you mentioned, the idea of like the way these people interact in these crime families and these unwritten rules, and like being a made man, and like the way these families interact and stuff like that, very interesting.
Bob, I'm surprised your favorite scene wasn't when Ray Liotta's narrating and he says, "We used to call each other Goodfellas." Don't you always pop for that?
I wasn't even drinking.
When they
and
say
I
the
went
name
and
of the
took
movie,
a
yeah.
shot during that because you just have to.
Apparently, the book was called Wise Guys.
No, yeah, and this more than anything made me want to like read that book. I know Bob can't read, so
I
he
don't-
probably didn't read the book before.
I don't remember why it wasn't called Wise Guys.
Bob will
the
read
actual
any
movie.
article about this movie, but God forbid he pick up a book.
But yeah, I'm surprised you haven't read this book. When when he's explaining like, yeah, it's a good fella. Like he's a good guy. He's a good fella.
That's
like,
actually
I
one
gotta
of the-
keep drinking.
That's
Shit.
actually one of the parts I don't like about it. I almost wish they didn't use
That was the
title.
most like corniest parts.
Because they don't actually call, from other movies I've seen in other like TV shows, I don't think Goodfellas and actually they use Wise Guys in term. So that's what the title of the book was. I don't remember exactly why it wasn't called Wise Guys, but what are you guys' final thoughts on the movie while we end this?
I mean, it's not even up for debate that it's just like a flawlessly executed movie. I mean, the length, it feels long, but I don't think that's a bad
What
thing.
felt
I think
longer, this movie or A.X.L?
A.X.L felt longer for sure, no question about it. But that's the thing about time. Like, I know you guys have like this weird hang up on like the length of movies, but for me,
not for this.
yeah, exactly. For me, it's like if it's good all the way through,
Yeah.
that's all that matters. And The Irishman, I would say, is a little too long because I felt like you could have trimmed a little bit of that and it still would have been as good. I don't necessarily feel that way about this movie. I don't think you really. Maybe you could get away with it, but I don't think you need to trim anything off
Yeah,
this
I think
movie.
there's like parts where like just in any movie in general, like if it's a shitty movie, it's gonna feel long. If it's a good movie, you're gonna wish there was more. That's
This is perfect for me. There's not a scene or a moment in this
And
movie
honestly-
I would take out.
It goes 2.5 hours. That's probably like the max for like a really good movie. If it was
I
like
agree.
how The Irishman is, I think it's 3 hours, right? Like that's probably too long. But 2.5 hours is like if it's gonna be a really good movie, that's kind of like the perfect length.
I agree with that.
I felt the same way about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Some people felt that was too long, but I would have taken even more of that if it was as good as that movie was.
Yeah.
I think that's the better measurement of a movie. Bob, I do have one question for you though.
Okay.
Did you watch this movie on your phone?
You know, you're probably not gonna like this answer, but I definitely did.
Did you rewatch it?
I've watched it, dude. I saw
I know
it.
that I was just curious if you rewatched it like this
Oh, for the
past week.
podcast? No, because I watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Because it cost $4.
No, I literally watched it. So you know what? The last time I watched it actually was on AMC. It was on TV.
Oh yeah.
And this is up there with
This is
Wolf of
not
Wall
a-
Street as worst movies to watch on television because you don't even hear half the dialogue.
Yeah.
But I've seen this movie so many times. I didn't have to rewatch it. I saw it, like I said, I saw it a few weeks ago. But I guess my final thoughts on it is just probably, gun to my head. Tommy D. Simone's got a pistol in my mouth. I'm probably gonna say this is my favorite movie of all
If you're
time.
on your deathbed
Well,
and you can either watch Goodfellas one more time or The Godfather.
well, no, that's an easy answer. We all know this. If you're a listener to the podcast, you know that I'm saving The Godfather until my deathbed when I'm dying. This doesn't exist for anybody where there's a movie that I know I'm going to love. I know I'm going to love every second of it, and I know it's going to be my new favorite movie of all time. Why would I not save it until I'm dying? Until I'm on my deathbed.
Stupidest
I-
thing of all time.
I've never felt more passionately and more confidently and more smart about a decision
I
I've ever
hope
made.
Jeremy puts The Godfather as one of the loser movies to watch when you
Well,
lose.
then, you know what I'm going to do? Slit my throat and pop it in.
Just my final thoughts. This Martin Scorsese, how do you say his name? Pretty good director. I would watch some of his movies. This would be one of the top ones I would watch.
With that being said, though, I think it's time to move on to our final segment. And what that is, now that we're all... Are everybody feeling it?
I'm tipsy. Yeah, I'm pretty drunk.
Yeah,
what movie do I want to watch right now?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to narrow down what is the best drunk movie of all time. Best movie to watch drunk. Did anybody bring a list? I brought a list.
Absolutely not. I forgot we were doing this part of the podcast.
No list.
I don't have a list. I do have 2 movies off the top of the dome that I remember from when you brought this topic up last week, though.
I mean,
I'll read
I'm
my list
basic.
and I'll see. We'll agree on it. It's my podcast. I'll make the fucking rules. So I'll
Oh, God. Bob's pointing a gun at us at this point.
All right. So I got my list. I brought it. So the first one on my list, I'll read it off basically, and then we'll see how we feel.
How many movies you got on this list?
6.
Okay.
43.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Super bad.
Okay. You know what I have? I'm gonna immediately disqualify this movie. Greatest first hour of a movie, almost, and greatest discrepancy in a movie. Like the first hour is so good, and then the second hour, I'm just like, come on, like it just doesn't seem
I
realistic.
can get that.
But I
Preface
like it.
to this list, I think there's only 2 movies that I can think of off the top of my head that I've watched drunk. Typically, watching movies is not a drunk habit of mine.
No, yeah, I agree.
You're
But,
weird.
but for me, it's more like, also to preface the Jeremy's preface, I like watching comedies when I'm like drunk or hammered.
Most of these are all. Every one
Okay.
of these is comedies.
All right, perfect.
Because I agree, it has to be a comedy movie. Next one on the list, The Hangover.
Interesting. It's almost
A lot of these involve alcohol.
okay.
I think they almost have to.
The Hangover is like a movie I feel like I need to revisit.
I did actually revisit it during quarantine, and I was like, yeah, this movie is pretty funny.
I rewatched The Hangover for the first time, honestly, since like maybe 2011.
Were you drunk?
I was buzzing a little. But holy fuck, it was really funny. Next one on the list, it falls into the same category as The Hangover, where it's about alcohol. And this one I might push for Project X.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Project X.
I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast before. Jeremy never seen it.
Project X is a great movie.
That's a great
That's
movie, but
another,
Actually,
actually,
not a good movie, a good time.
no, that's a good time. But it's like, it's not a movie you want to watch drunk because then when you're drunk, you like are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this shit
How
next
about
time.
we make it a pregame movie? Project X.
I
is
mean,
on
it's
in the
your,
background.
yeah. Well, that's a good pregame movie, I guess, because then you're like, I'm gonna kill this person's house.
So this is something that we've mentioned on the podcast before, and if you're a repeat listener, you'll know this. One of the best movies to watch drunk, Rush Hour 3.
Dude, Rush Hour 3 is my fucking lead contender. Dude, Rush Hour 3 is like the perfect movie to watch when you're drunk because you don't really have to pay attention. Chris Tucker's going to give you some lines here and there that make you laugh your ass off. I fucking love this
It's
movie.
never
dude.
been on before midnight.
It hasn't. It
Never,
hasn't.
ever.
If you want to watch it,
A Sunday
honestly-
morning classic,
Yeah, Sunday morning.
as defined by the
Or,
clock.
yeah, or this shit. Dude, this movie is on TNT like every other weekend.
Hell yeah.
I've never seen Rush Hour 3. Might turn it on tonight.
We should turn it on right now because I'm a little fucked up. So Rush Hour 3, I think we can agree off of my list what I've
So
given
far,
you
that's
guys.
my
So
favorite.
far,
I'll
so
vote
good.
for it, having not seen it.
Here's another one for you guys.
Best movie of the decade.
Yeah. Here's another one for you guys. Cats.
Dude, shout out to Jason Derulo for trying to save that movie.
No, that's really the reason I put Cats on this list. Because I can
Because you
only
watched
shit
it
about-
drunk?
the only way you could enjoy this if you were moments from death. I mean, maybe like a .38 AB.
.41.
If you're at .31, this is the only way you're gonna really enjoy this fucking movie. Like you have to be moments from death, ripping an IV out of your arm if you're really gonna like this movie.
Is Cats like a movie that, like, if you were fucked up and watching it with, like, a bunch of friends, like, it would be fun to watch and
I
just
don't know.
laugh
I mean,
at?
we'll find out tonight. But I put it on here as it's literally the worst movie I've ever seen. So I feel like a drunk movie, if you were absolutely wasted, like it'd be a shitty movie that you would enjoy because you're drunk.
I've got 3 movies I'd like to add to this list. of
Okay.
yours.
Because I have the last one that is.
I have
Oh,
two,
no,
but-
please.
No, no, no.
yeah.
I'm gonna save
Hold
it.
on to
It's
it?
the cherry on top. I'm gonna save it for.
Well, let me throw my 3 out there
Okay.
then. One that I'm surprised.
I have two. I'm confused. If maybe
I'm
we'll
surprised
have
you didn't say it, and if it's your
We gotta agree on the end.
if it's your cherry on top, then we'll cut this.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't say Dodgeball.
Yeah, that's
That's a sober movie.
I'm sorry. I feel like we've watched this movie a couple times drunk, and it's like the movie you like watching because when you watch a movie drunk with friends, if that's the criteria. I don't know if it is, but like a lot of people chime in and say the lines, and you're kind of like, sometimes you're like, come on, shut the fuck up. But this is a movie, everyone knows the lines, and you don't care if people chime in.
I think, but that's totally true. But I think for this to be considered the best drunk movie of all time, it has to be a movie that is enhanced while you're watching drunk. I could watch Dodgeball stone cold sober and laugh my fucking ass off, and I could watch it with my buddies and people interject.
No, but I
with
feel
lines,
like
I'd also enjoy it.
I like this movie more when I'm watching it with people.
I don't know if I'd say I like it more, but I do think it qualifies as a strong contender for best drunk movie experience.
I can agree because I think the drunk movie experience of watching Dodgeball is very high. But like I said, I like it sober too. So I almost feel like
I
in
get
that
that.
case, it makes it on the fence. Do I love watching this movie absolutely blackout drunk? Fuck yeah, I do. But do I also like? Do I also like
Is the
watching?
Pope Catholic?
There's a bear shit in the woods. Yeah, I like watching Dodgeball drunk as fuck. But I also like watching it sober. So it's on the fence.
Yeah,
for me.
I guess that's. I didn't think that would be anti the movie though.
No,
because
no.
it's good when you're sober.
No,
too.
it's good. It's good at all times. I love the movie so much. That's why I almost like, you know.
My other one, not a comedy, but an action movie
Okay.
that I have seen drunk, and I think it only enhances
Fast
the
and Furious?
experience. The Kingsman.
Oh,
Haven't seen the movie, so I can't really comment. Bob, you probably have more than me.
have not seen it. I
Oh shit! I thought you saw it.
think that's put the nail in the coffin there. That one's not winning.
Well, that's unfortunate because that movie has some of
Fuck
the
you,
coolest
Jared.
action scenes, and if you watch it
That
drunk,
we don't give a shit about.
No, the Kingsman. Jeremy, I think, has been
I
mentioning
want
this
to
movie.
see
Like,
it for a
yeah.
while. Yeah.
the action scenes are so cool. If you're drunk, you're like standing up and cheering for him. Which brings me into my last and final movie, the one that I hope one day, next summer, we'll all be able to witness together, and we can all be blackout drunk to watch
I
it.
know.
F9, the 9th installment in the Fast and Furious
I definitely think
franchise.
this should win a movie that hasn't been out yet.
Well, AMC has 15-cent movie tickets now, right? If that
Only
movie
for
ever
one
comes
day,
out,
I'm pretty sure. It's
it'll
for
be
one day.
15 cents, and then a $20,000 fine when I piss everywhere in the movie theater because I'm stone cold drunk as fuck.
All right, let me give my one last movie. Obviously, Dodgeball was one of my main contenders. The other one, another comedy, a movie that honestly,
Keep it in.
a movie that I should be ridiculed for keeping off my basketball list. Semi-pro. I think this might be maybe the movie I've watched with my brother the most, just because it's on like Comedy Central a lot.
That's also on at like 1 a.m. all the time.
yeah, exactly.
That's another thing we have to bring in is when does this movie play on television? Is it play at 1 o'clock in the morning?
That means they had the numbers to back up the
Yeah,
fact that it's a
exactly.
drunk movie.
But I Semi-Pro is one of the most quotable movies. It's not one of the best movies Will Ferrell's been in, but like, just suck my cock, I'll murder your family. That was my senior quote.
Put it on my fucking tombstone. Ben, what else? Was that it?
Yeah, I honestly, Dodgeball is my main contender. Bob's like trying to throw shots at it, saying
No,
that
no,
it's
I can
also
get-
good when he's sober.
I can get down with dodgeball if that's what we decide on. I
was
will
your
not
last
lose
one?
sleep. My last one, and I feel like nobody brought it up. I thought one of you would bring it up. BeerFest.
I've never seen that movie.
Never
Wow.
seen it.
Never heard of that
Call
movie.
the cops. Oh
heard of
my
it.
lord.
Who's in this movie?
We're gonna watch it tonight. We're gonna. This is the only way I'm gonna. It's such a good drunk movie. Everything about it is about drinking. It's about beer. It's literally start to finish a beer fest. It's literally such.
But is that more of a pregame movie that gets you excited to drink, or one you want to watch when you're already drunk?
It's really good drunk. I've seen it drunk a lot of times. it's the guys from Super Troopers.
Okay.
Yes, and they're in it, and they go to Germany for Beer Fest, and you know what? Fuck me. Put a fucking stick in it. I guess we're not picking that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess
If you guys
I'll
hadn't,
give it a
I
shot.
honestly thought
but-
both of you had seen it, so fuck me. But all right, let's decide on it then. We'll take Beer Fest out, which is the one I had a little asterisk next to because I thought it was the guaranteed winner.
For
But
me, it's between
Rush Hour. 3.
Rush Hour 3, which Jeremy hasn't seen, which makes it tougher for him, and Dodgeball. I'm sorry, that's what it comes
I
down
can
to.
agree. Rush Hour 3 and Dodgeball.
I'm okay with those two. Having only seen Dodgeball, I'll leave it up to you guys.
Here's what I'm going to bring in, and we talked about it with Semi-Pro. When this movie only plays at 1 o'clock in the morning. You're right, Jeremy. They got the numbers to back it up. Why the fuck else would they be playing this movie so late? They know people are coming home and watching it.
Yeah, I feel like Dodgeball, I don't have cable anymore. I'm more of a streaming guy now.
Can you reiterate the line you had about the Rush Hour series? Just for the people that didn't hear it before.
Yes, Bob, thank you for bringing that up again. So, if you're going out for a night on the town drinking, and this is pre-COVID, you get fucking hammered watching Rush Hour. You're out during Rush Hour 2, because who has ever seen that movie? Anyone?
No.
And then you come back fucking hammered, 1 a.m., just after Rush Hour 2. You come back, you got your food, and you turn on Rush Hour 3, and you pass out at about 10 minutes left.
With that alone, I feel like it's gotta be Rush Hour 3 is the best movie to watch when you're drunk. I literally have never seen Rush Hour 3 sober.
This movie came out when you were, when?
10?
Bob, it's your show. Ultimately, the decision
Bob,
is
I'll
yours.
let you.
Why the fuck am I even asking you, idiots? Guess what? The best movie of all time to watch when you're drunk and maybe sober and high and doesn't matter. One of the best movies of all time, Rush Hour 3. Rush Hour 3 is the best movie to watch of all time when you are drunk. And you know what, motherfuckers? That's the end of the podcast.
Drink responsibly, everybody.